You are already showing more strength than you realize. And that strength is why this moment feels so heavy right now. When someone you care about goes quiet, when the texts slow down, when the calls stop, when the presence you counted on suddenly disappears, something shifts inside you. Your mind starts moving faster than it should. You check your phone, you replay your last conversation, you search your memory for something, anything, that explains why you are now standing in this silence. And that searching, that anxious scanning through everything you said, everything you felt, everything you gave, that is not weakness. That is your heart doing exactly what a heart that loves is designed to do. Psychology shows us something important about this moment you are in right now. When someone we are emotionally connected to withdraws their attention, our nervous system does not register it as a minor inconvenience. It registers it as a threat. Not because you are fragile, not because you are insecure, but because human connection is not optional. It is biological. Your brain is wired to notice absence the same way it notices danger. The discomfort you feel right now is not a flaw in your character. It is proof that you are fully, deeply human. So before anything else, before you send another message, before you convince yourself that something is wrong with you, before you start shrinking yourself to fit into the silence he left behind, let yourself hear this. Your reaction makes complete sense. What you are feeling right now is valid. What you are experiencing beneath the surface is real. The silence is not nothing. The silence is full of meaning, and so are you. Here is what psychology consistently reveals about the moments when a man pulls back or goes quiet. It is almost never about what you think it is about. When a man withdraws, the most common assumption is that something has changed in how he feels. Your mind goes there immediately, because that is the wound you fear most. But emotional withdrawal in men is one of the most misread behaviors in relationships, and misreading it is what leads to the responses that actually create distance rather than close it. Men process emotional intensity inward. This is not an excuse. It is a documented pattern in how stress, uncertainty, and overwhelm are experienced differently across nervous systems shaped by different emotional environments. When something feels too big, too uncertain, or too real, many men go quiet not to punish you, but because they do not yet have words for what they are holding. The silence is not directed at you, but because you are sensitive, because you feel deeply, it lands on you like it is. This is what's happening beneath the surface. You are experiencing the emotional weight of someone else's unspoken experience, and carrying someone else's silence on top of your own feelings is one of the most exhausting things a human heart can do. Now here is what no one tells you about this moment, and this is the part that actually matters. How you respond to this silence has almost nothing to do with changing his behavior. It has everything to do with what you discover about yourself. When you panic, when you flood him with messages, when you chase the silence with noise, what you are actually doing is abandoning yourself. You are leaving the one person in this situation who deserves your full attention. You. The anxiety that rises when he goes quiet is not asking you to fix him. It is asking you to return to yourself. This is where psychology meets something almost spiritual, something about the nature of self-worth and where it actually lives. Your value does not decrease in someone's silence. Your worth does not depend on his response time. The love you are capable of giving, the depth of presence you bring to a connection, none of that becomes smaller because someone went quiet for a moment. What the silence is actually doing, and this is what the research on attachment and emotional regulation tells us, is revealing where your sense of security lives. If your peace is entirely in someone else's hands, then every silence becomes a crisis. if your peace lives somewhere inside you, in your sense of who you are, in your own understanding of your worth, then even the heaviest silence becomes something you can sit with, something you can survive, something that does not define you. Right now, in this moment, you have a choice that has nothing to do with him. You can chase the silence, or you can return to yourself. Returning to yourself does not mean giving up. It does not mean walking away. It means remembering, really remembering, who you are when no one is watching. It means letting your own worth breathe, independent of whether it is being reflected back to you right now. Because here is what the universe seems to understand. Even when we forget, the relationships that are truly meant for you do not require you to abandon yourself to hold them. Love that is real does not ask you to shrink. It does not punish you with silence as a weapon. It does not leave your nervous system in a constant state of scanning for proof that you matter. You matter, not because someone texts back, not because someone shows up, not because someone chooses you in this moment. You matter because you are here, because you feel, because you love in a way that is honest and whole and real. And that love, the kind you carry, is rare, rarer than most people ever admit out loud. So what does returning to yourself actually look like right now? It looks like quieting the urge to explain yourself. It looks like trusting that the right connection will not require you to perform your worth. It looks like turning your attention back toward the things that fill you, not distract you, but genuinely restore you. Your friendships, your own thoughts, the quiet things that make you feel like you again. Because when you are full, when you are present in your own life, you are no longer available to be diminished by someone else's absence. You deserve someone who does not leave you guessing. You deserve a connection that feels like safety, not a test. Your worth is not conditional on his attention, and your love is not something anyone gets to ignore without consequence, because it is too valuable for that. You were never the problem. Loving deeply was never your mistake. Caring too much was never the flaw. Those things are your strength, and the right person will one day recognize them as exactly that. Let that settle. Let it be true for you today, even if it is hard to believe right now. If this touched something real in you, if it reached a part of your heart you have been trying to protect, please hit that like button and join the Psychology Wisdom family. Subscribe because the next insight is already waiting for you. And sometimes the right words find you exactly when you need them most.